can no longer fix it.
This
It'll be late.
is
What could we have done differently? In a lot of trouble. Our timeline is in chaos. LokI season 2 only on Disney Plus.
woo. So what is the situation? Why is this so important? He has a major secret. No one seems to know what it is.
What?
Now, oh, right. No, there was no response from the winner, so we will be doing another raffle for the Screen Fiend movie level and Patreon VIPs. If you're a Patreon VIP, you will be in the drawing, so that will be happening during the Laker halftime game. But now Kang is here, and we see that Sylvie has a plan. And the reason that Sylvie didn't kill him is because Sylvie knows what we know. Well, if you watch the first season, his story is similar to Sylvie's. Sylvie remembers not being, believed and was scheduled to be pruned based on what other Lokis have done, not giving her a chance of saying, this is my life, this is what I've done. Now, the history of Canes, he who remains, Cain the Conqueror, the Lizard Cain, you got Mr. Griffin, you have all of these versions, Superion, you got the Tut, all of these different versions of Cain mean something. Immortus, all of these Canes, and this is what makes Cain so dangerous, is because he's all of them. So, because all of these situations have presented themselves to be important, Sylvie now realizes that this is a mirror image of what happened with herself. He who remains wanted to die, he didn't mind. And we find out that this is not a variant of Cain, but him actually in another timeline that he placed on this timeline to protect himself. And she had that thought back to when she was a little girl and she was being pruned and put into a system in a place where no one could find her, or they pruned her entire existence and just took her out of there and placed her somewhere and took her life from her. So she spent her whole life jumping from place to place, all because she was a LokI. They just considered her dangerous without even any provocation whatsoever. And he was able to convince Sylvie instead of just trying to run from her. Something that he who remained didn't care if he lived or died. Said, I've gotten too old. This is a young man's game. Because he already had the contingency plan in place to start again young. So this way he can right any mistakes the next time around. Now you might be saying to yourself, what mistakes did he make? Well, as you can see, at the end of time, it's just him there. He who remains by himself, alone. no one with him, and he's just watching the outskirts of what's happening in the rest of the world. Right? Now, we have often had often clashes of different personalities and people in this entanglement. Now, the second episode was when they find her while she's working at McDonald's, and it was more banter between LokI and Morbus. Now, the third episode, which starts to scale out a lot of where they're going to go with the direction He Who Remains, which we all know as Cain. And it was also the first sighting of Jonathan Majors playing the character. First, she goes and lays the book at that time, and they jump 25 years later and find out that he has studied all his work, driven to do. After finding that deviation, things that he want to be able to do, that's on that book. It's not going to happen for him in that timeline. But as Cain knew, as He Who Remains knew, is that they're going to come for him and they're going to bring him to current time from the age where they think he's a threat, where he's recognizable. So he would be in his 20s, right? A young man in this game. And in a game of time, he will never age like the others. So time will move a lot slower for him as it did for the others. Now, as this construct moves forward and you start to learn from all of the things, the developments that have taken place, and a lot of the actions that have happened from different people, you start to see all the pieces starting to fall in place. Ouroboros. What is Ouroboros? It's a circle, kind of similar to the circle that they make when they have the ring, right? The timeline. What was the main reason for all of this hoopla, all of this uproar, everything that was transpiring? What was the reason behind all of this? What was the point? What was that needful thing? What was that example that needed to be set? The precedence that couldn't wait. No one else could destroy. Nobody could take away from. No one could detain. What was that needful thing? Because whatever that needful thing was, it was put in place to be a distraction. It was put into place to be something that is going to tear apart the TVA. It is something that they put in place that's going to possibly tear down the TVA. So, when it all plays out, we're going to see how good everybody actually is. And when it all falls down, we're going to see how it plays out. Because now they got all the pieces they need, they just can't get out there to implement it. But what they're going to find out in this new episode is that they're too late. They're too late. And now the only way to save the timeline is to go back in the past As this timeline is being evaporated, the TVA is being destroyed. Now they're going to be forced to have to go to another timeline outside of time and space. They got to go to the past. So as the TVA fails, where will everyone else go? That is the key. That is the focus. Where will they go? I'm ready for it. So part 4 is in a couple of hours. Episode 4. We'll go into it there. Because now everybody's like, oh, Miss Minutes is going to get the body of Renslayer, and she's going to be Renslayer, Miss Minutes. And she's going to have that voice and get the actual body of Renslayer. If he's going to do that, that could be a play down the road, but I doubt it because he could be, though. They've hinted at it. So, but I think he kind of likes her right now. He's attracted to her. But when she starts saying partnership, you saw him pull back. Like, oh, hell no. You heard her. She said partnership. I watched the Lakers with the Suns. They ain't even played yet. Unless I've been in a time loop. That game ain't on yet. Oh yeah, I bet the Lakers, but I need I want the Suns to win. I want LeBron to lose considerably. Over and over again until his ears bleed. Mm-hmm. Yes. I will definitely be getting back to you guys when I do that. And I'm out.